What's going on, people? It's your boy Travis, Horror Movies Uncut, the illustrious family. We are back with another episode of the Submissions and Slashers podcast. How you guys doing? Happy holiday season to you out there. Not sure what you celebrate, but whatever you do celebrate, we're wishing you the safest holiday you possibly could have. Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, Hail Satan, you know what I mean? Whatever you got going on this holiday season, it's all on you and your people. Take care of them. Take care of yourselves. We all want to see you coming into one piece going into the next year. So, episode number 47. Hope you guys are doing well. As you can see, if you're watching on the YouTube right now, your boy got his own personal Christmas gift in the building. That's a brand new microphone. Hopefully everything works out good. I did about 3 checks, and I know the minute I get finished with this, I'm gonna go back on and it's not gonna be working. But hopefully the voice sounds a little bit more clear, a little bit more in tune, ready to go just for you. And let's talk about what we got on this a very quick holiday in-between edition of the Submissions and Slashers, also known as episode 47. First and foremost, let's take care of a little bit of business. You know where to find us, HMUNCUT. That is the website of Horror Movies Uncut, the family, the home of Submissions and Slashers. That's also where you can find us on every single social media outlet out there. All right, YouTube channel as well. So make sure to give us a like, make sure to give us a follow, make sure to give us a subscribe, find whatever way you can send us money. And we're going to roll into episode number 47. What we got on today's episode number 47, we're going to be talking about Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. That's the new Aquaman film. Did not get a chance to see a couple things. I didn't get a chance to watch Ghost Station. I also kind of got bumped off of watching Iron Claw. We can thank the prince of the household for that one. I wanted to see Iron Claw. I got told that we need to see Aquaman, and so then I got a little review for Aquaman for you guys. Holiday action horror films that are under the radar. This one's going to be more of just a funny, dark comedy genre film that's going to take you guys back. It's a film that's been done over so many times that I think another one just got done or just was made not too long ago. This one, a little bit more dear to my heart, a little bit more of a classic, and a film that if you watch and you pay close attention to, so many elements in there that makes it a holiday film. So, little under the radar as we wrap up the holiday season. Of course, weird news of last week. Got some more weird news to get to you guys. This one's a little funny. Outside of that, we'll be talking about a big budget action thriller to see. Indie film shout outs from below the grave. And as always, we wrap up the show with what the hell is streaming next week. We're going to be also talking about what the hell is in theaters next week since we're rolling into that new year. And then give you guys a little bit more updates. So don't you go anywhere. Make sure to hit all those prescribes, likes, subscribes, follows, triggers, maybe not triggers. We don't want any type of triggers, but we'll be right back. Episode number 47, Submissions and Slashers podcast. Don't you go anywhere. All right, people. So jumping into this episode number 47, seriously hope you guys are all having a good holiday season. We're going to be talking about the new Aquaman movie, starring Mr. Jason Momoa. And that is Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. So the DC films, they're trying. I will say that the last few films, including the Black Adam, Shazam films, and pretty much everything DC, including, I guess better to say like more the Birds of Prey and stuff like that. They're doing a good job of really allowing some of the better characters in the comics to flourish on film now. And honestly, if you are a true comic fan, this is probably pretty rude to say, but I feel like I've read enough comics in my life to say this statement that if there's one thing that DC has always kind of had over is the depth maybe of the characters. You know, Batman and Superman, a little bit deeper characters, I feel like, than maybe Spider-Man and X-Men and Deadpools and stuff. So like, you know, and hey, everybody's got their own stories, everybody's got their own layers. But I just feel like as a kid growing up, when you read a DC comic, you were always getting ready to read like some journey, I felt like, you know, where a lot of Marvel comics that I read, and maybe it was just because it was so many, I don't know, characters, it just always kind of seemed like it could be a one-off comic, it could be a mini series, you know what I mean? And comics in general are like that, but it just felt like DC sometimes wanted to tell a little bit more of a story with some of their characters, and I feel like you would see with Marvel, like outside of Hulk and stuff. So Aquaman, love him or hate him as a character in DC. You know, it's Aquaman forever was kind of like the little laughing stock in the DC world, because the whole thing of like, hey, you don't have any powers if you're not in the water, which was never really kind of true, became a thing. So I feel like there's a lot of credit that is due to everybody behind the scenes involved in, first off, casting a guy like Jason Momoa to play, and then really allowing this underwater world to be created that kind of makes the Aquaman film stand out almost more than any other superhero film on either side of the equation. And that's including you, Image, Dark Horse guys, and everybody, Vertigo, all you guys out there too. Which most of your stuff is being turned into TV shows, but I feel like kind of like when Marvel did Ant-Man, I feel like there was a lot of people, I could have swore I just turned the auto lock thing off of this. I feel like a lot of people were kind of like, why are you guys doing Ant-Man out of all the characters? And like, and here's the thing, man, like Ant-Man's like OG Avengers story guy. You know what I mean? Like you got a lot of stuff you can find in the history of Ant-Man, with there being more than one. So for DC characters to bring out Aquaman and actually say, hey, we're going to actually, you know, we're going to keep pushing these films, kind of even more than The Flash, which was a huge hit for them in CW world and stuff like that. It was kind of bold. It helps when you got people like Patrick Wilson, Jason, Nicole Kidman, you know what I mean? You got some standout Randall Park, who's just in like everything now, you know, still just the dad from, you know, Fresh Off the Boat. You know, like my boy is everywhere. You know what I'm saying? I just think these Aquaman films are actually pretty damn good. And it's crazy because right off the bat, I can see like why so many people might hate any of these films. But I think it's a little bit of, you know, cunningness to be had with these films, which is one of the reasons why I'm wondering why James Wan took on this project, because that was also kind of weird in my opinion. But to do these films that have so much like interaction underwater, that's the thing that always sticks out to me. I'm always like, man, when you guys are making these Aquaman movies, the parts underwater are just going to end up terrible with the rays and all the stuff that you guys are trying to do. And then I see the film and I'm like, that actually kind of worked. And going into this one, I was like, okay, I know they're going to do the underwater talking and all that stuff again. Is it going to look, are they going to keep it the same? Is it going to make better? And it actually looked a little better. Look, man, superhero films, look, people, superhero films are going to be exactly what you kind of expect them to be. Like, it really just kind of depends on how much you want to see that character, I think. Yes, Deadpool is for the children, but Aquaman is too. You know what I'm saying? And I think, regardless on if there's more Amber Heard in the next film or what they decide to do with the next villain, you know, because they're going to definitely, there's a lot more villains that Aquaman has out there that can jump into the mix. There's another Ray guy. There's like another Stingray guy. I would have to look him up real quick. There is more beef with his brother that I think happens down the line. I don't think him and Ocean Master are finished. And then, you know, other than that, I'm sure it's just team up stuff with all the land dwellers and Wonder Woman, because she doesn't count. She Amazon. But I didn't hate it. You know, I'm still going to go see Iron Claw. I still would have preferred to go see Iron Claw. I'm not going to lie. But it's a holiday. It's Christmas. It was a Christmas movie. So my son and I were like, let's go see Aquaman. Like, I feel like my son would have got a lot out of Iron Claw too. Probably a lot of it would have just been over his head because that was just such a long time ago. I mean, my cousins and I grew up on the tail end of the Von Erichs. You know, we had Texas Tornado. You know what I'm saying? But I was happy we went and saw Aquaman because it is part of the action genre. You know, as much as people give, you know, superhero or what do they call them, type movies or green screen movies, they got all those nicknames. As much as people want to cast them into their own category, at the end of the day, they are action films. So I don't know. Maybe we will get another big time director jumping on board for the next one, and we'll see what goes from there. I would like to see Zack Snyder put more of an imprint on these, though. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to make like a 4-hour movie involving half of these characters, like, put your foot down, fam. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, 2.5 out of 5 stars here. You know, most of the reviews out there kind of in the middle. Don't think it's anything to hate for sure. Check it out once it gets on streaming services if you don't want to see it in the theaters. But hey, man, it's a superhero film. Go see it in theaters, right? Isn't that what it's for? Okay. So we're going to jump right back in. That was our thoughts on Aquaman. We're going to come right back. We're going to try to check out Ghost Station in the next day or so we can have that by the next one. We're going to talk about our next holiday film under the radar. And then we'll be back with more. Don't you go anywhere. Submissions and Slashers, episode number 47, fam. We be back and all those things. All right, people, welcome back to Submissions and Slashers, episode number 47. Once again, happy holiday season to everyone. New year on the way. We will have our possibly best and possibly worst movies of the year list coming up on the Horror Movies Uncut website very, very soon, within the next couple days, and that will be followed by our year-end podcast, which I'm gonna actually try to do on Sunday. Like, I would love to get that done on New Year's Eve. That'd be gangster. I ain't got shit else to do. Wait, what's going on, people? Episode number 47. We're talking about holiday films that are underneath the radar. For the last couple weeks, we've been giving you guys some not so Christmas movies that might have a little bit of something to do with Christmas in the background. That at the end of the day, when you get finished watching it, you're like, was that a Christmas movie? But it's got enough holiday spirit with more reasons than one for it to be listed as a holiday movie. Okay, so back in the 80s, which was, you know, where I learned everything about movies. There was a film in 1988 starring one Mr. Judge Reinhold, one Mr. Fred Savage, and that film was called Vice Versa. Now, the funny thing is, not too shortly, I think either before or after, there was a gentleman from Growing Pains and a gentleman that's a British legend in comedy and actor in film and theater and authors and everything, that also did one of these switcheroo movies. And when you hear the word switcheroo movie, you're like, Travis, why do I know what a switcheroo movie is? Because a switcheroo movie is Freaky Friday, people. And Freaky Friday movies have all different types of incarnations to the point where it's its own genre. Like, and I gotta, like, if you can steal this if you want to. Go ahead and put it out there, people. Put that Freaky Friday genre out there, all right? There is a lot of movies you can throw in the mix. There's even another movie that came out this holiday season that's a Switch film, okay? So probably the most old school title, lore, legend of like a Freaky Friday movie is what? The Prince and the Pauper, right? The switching of the identities, the lost twins at birth, this, you know, but then things started to change when sci-fi, magic, and things like that started to get into the mix, where all of a sudden people were switching with each other based off of spells or old books or possible skull artifacts that may look like ashtrays when it should be cases of vases, right? So vice versa is during the Christmas season, okay? Downtown Chicago, man. All right. I feel like over 80% of the films made in the 80s, especially mid 80s to late 80s, were done in downtown Chicago. Adventures in Babysitting, everybody from 16 Candles, all the John Hughes movies, you know what I mean? The Belushi brothers, everybody's outside of Chicago, in Chicago. So the hotbed, right? The Atlanta of the 80s is what Chicago really was. And with a movie like Vice Versa, how you know it's a holiday movie right off the bat is one of the reasons why National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation is a holiday movie right off the bat. Because there's epic scenes where they're in department stores. Now, here's the crazy thing. In Vice Versa, Judge Reinhold's character works as like a toy or a foreign import or an import acquisition, you know, looking for toys, looking for desks, furniture, whatever. And it's like a department store. I know this sounds crazy, and you guys can call me whatever the fuck you want to. I feel like at times, and this could just be in my own world as a child growing up, when you watch National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation and you see the part where Clark and Russ go to the mall and he meets the girl and he's like, "Oh, Mary, that's my name," and he's like, "It's quite nipply out." You know what you guys all know what part I'm talking about. I feel like they're like at the same store as where Judge Reinhold then works at, and vice versa. It's like the same time period too. Now, here's the thing. If it's not at the same store, it's definitely in the same neck of the woods, because you get those wonderful shots of downtown Chicago holiday season. You guys know what I'm talking about because you see them in every single movie involving Christmas around Chicago. So that's how you know right off the bat, Vice Versa is a holiday film. Now, even though he's out there acquiring something new for the store, it's not like this gift is for his son, Charlie, and his name's Marshall, Judge Reinhold, okay? So if you've never seen Vice Versa, Marshall, who works at the department store, he's like completely uptight American Psycho type dude, right? Like stock market, you know what I'm saying? Latte fuck, you know, good dude, but too uptight. But you know he's a good dude because he had a good woman and doesn't have her anymore, but he had an awesome kid, right? Name's Charlie. That's Fred Savage, plays in the film. Now, Fred Savage deserves, I feel like awards for this movie because for him to have to play an adult in this was so much more far-fetched than like Judge Reinhold playing a kid. I mean, that's just like, you could take Tom Hanks and Judge Reinhold and made like Big 2. You know what I'm saying? And made like Judge Reinhold his homeboy. You know what I mean? Like, I'm serious. Like, and I think they did make a Big 2, and I don't want to talk about it. But with vice versa, it's not a gift for Charlie. So that's where you might think like, oh, this ain't got nothing to do with Christmas. It's not even a gift for his son. It's the artifact is what creates the switcheroo between the two of them. Christmas is just in the background of the rest of the film. Okay. So with that being said, there's going to be a lot of people that's just like, okay, I see what you're saying. But I mean, in all honesty, it is outside of the part when they go to like Korea or India or wherever, the Philippines, wherever they do to get this skull. Like, you are in the mode of Chicago, middle of the winter, right around Christmas. There's an epic scene where there's a music part that's one of the biggest parts of the film. And in that part, the main selling part of it is that what's being used is a Christmas gift for somebody. So there's a lot. There's enough for you to actually add Vice Versa, 1988, Brian Gilbert's Vice Versa, to your Christmas films, your alternative Christmas films list of something a little bit under the radar that you might not 100% consider a Christmas film. But I mean, goddamn, man. Can y'all really watch Elf that many times? Yes, y'all can. I know you can. I know you can. Watch Scrooge. Like, that's a great Christmas movie. Bill Murray Scrooge. So wrong, but so great. But anyway, Vice Versa, please. It's one of my favorites as a child growing up. I'll be honest with you, it made a highlight during this Christmas season for me, because knowing that I wanted to tell you guys about all these different movies, going back and watching something like Vice Versa. I haven't watched Vice Versa in so long, and I forgot how much I used to adore this film growing up. And it's metal, dude. It's a lot. It's metal in this film. You know what I'm saying? So watch it if you've never seen it before. Judge Reinhold, Fred Savage. I know a lot of you are like, I remember that damn movie, right? It was around Christmas time. No lie, man. But you can kind of watch it anytime. All right. So that is the holiday film under the radar. Could be a horror, could be an action, could be a dark comedy, as what we saw with Vice Versa. Okay. I'm trying to think. We're going to do a New Year's Eve show, so we're going to do one more. We'll do one more film. Okay. The sad part is I've watched a lot of kind of alternative Christmas movie. I don't know what that next film is going to be. But I'm going to find it. And I'm going to find it within the next 72 hours. But I'm going to need you to come back in the next 72 seconds. Because we're going to talk about some weird news from last week. Submissions and Slashers. Episode 47. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, people. It's about that time that we dip into the strange for a little bit of change that's going on around this lovely land we live in. And that means it's a little bit of time for weird news of last week. So today's story, we travel to the lovely foreign land of Oregon, the fictionist land of Oregon, where Nikes run amuck. So anyway, there is McMinnville Police Department posted something on Facebook where at the local high school, they thought there was a live hand grenade by the track of the school. So once they were made aware of this grenade, they made all the kids stay in school because school was going on at this time, stopped all activities, and then they sent a drone in to take some photos. Now, let's think about this for 1 second. As you can hear from the wind outside, it is the holiday season. there's not a lot of news going on in the world, right? So, right before Christmas, why someone thinks it's a good idea to walk around with anything resembling a hand grenade, beyond me, people, beyond me. So what happened was after they got photographs, they noticed that this hand grenade is a little different. It had a little thing coming out from the side of it, which was a plastic bag. Because this hand grenade was a doggy poop bag dispenser. Everybody went on about their day after that. I don't know what more needs to be said. I am very glad that right before Christmas, a bunch of kids didn't get their arms and hands and feet blown off by a live hand grenade. I'm glad that it just turned out to be a doggy poop bag dispenser. The only thing that I'm going to say to leave on this note is maybe think of some better ideas to make bag dispensers out of. How about we go there? Because that shit is just weird, dog. Hella weird. So, but with that being said, if you are walking down the street and you happen to come across a hand grenade, run the fucking other way, regardless if there's dog shit in there or not, okay? Because it is not supposed to be outside in the middle of the street or by a track or wherever else they found this thing. So, good job, Oregon. We see y'all up there. Yeah, so that is our weird news of the week. Don't forget, folks, to follow us, find us, hit subscribe buttons at HMUNCUT.com is the website. Submissions and Slashers is the podcast. Please follow us. Please subscribe. We are pulling these out. We got, like I said, website's been a little slow. A lot of not a lot of news going on. Not a lot of not a lot of, ain't no not a lot of not, you know what I'm saying?
Had another bitch come into my life. Not another. Nobody say that now, nothing like you say that now, nothing. Not another bitch. And I still don't know what that shit means.
Nothing really going on. So, you get, to a point where you start looking a little outside the realm when you're thinking about what can I go see in the theaters. Now, of course, Aquaman would probably be listed as like the big action film in theaters to see right now. But there's a lot of other stuff to see. One of the things that I would like to point out is for my car enthusiasts out there that might be looking for a little blood rush for their viewing experience this holiday season, you need to go see Ferrari. Came out this week, right on Christmas. It's out in theaters everywhere right now. I will be going to see it this weekend myself. I am very, very excited to see it. The clips, they don't look stellar, but I know the story's great. Adam, he's just that next character actor type of guy, man, like a Johnny Depp. That's just he jumps in roles, man, and he does his thing. We got a lot of great character actors out there right now with him and Phoenix and even the guy that was just in Black that played Black Manta in the new Aquaman film. You got a lot of good character actors. So I'm curious to see how he and Cruz do in Ferrari. A little over 2 hours long. I'm ready to dig in. I'm ready to see what type of maniac he was on the track, how they're going to play it out. I've only watched clips of Enzo on YouTube and things like that. So as a person who loves cars, I'm not the biggest Ferrari fans, but definitely got love for 125. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll be very, very curious to see how this film goes. So, looking forward to Ferrari, and I feel like that is the big budget action thriller that you should go see in theaters this week. But go see Aquaman too, and technically Iron Claw, it's pro wrestling. Kinda, you know what I'm saying? But that's a little bit more of a drama, a little bit more family oriented too on certain things. But man, such a tragic story. If you have never read, heard anything about the Von Erichs, go to YouTube right now. Go on Viceland's channels right now. Look up Dark Side of Wrestling. Watch the special on the Von Erichs. You'll get a majority of it. It's tough, man. It's tough to hear about those boys. And it seemed like those boys had a lot of love for what they did. But we're going to come right back to wrap up the show. We're going to give an indie film shout out from Below the Grave with a little movie starring Danielle Harris that'll be out on digital next week. And then we'll also talk about what the hell is in theaters, kinda, and also streaming next week. Don't you go anywhere. We're going to wrap up episode number 47 right when we come back real quick. Holiday episode. Happy holidays. Happy everything. He, she, they, theirs, and everything's. All y'all's. Like, we'll be right back. Don't go nowhere, man. Let me shut up. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, people. Welcome back. Submissions and Slashers. It is Thursday, December 28th, man. Your boy is on fumes, trying to do this holiday schedule. I'm used to getting up super early in the morning, a little bit of studying, a little bit of work, right into clients, get done, get my work in, be able to start winding down the day, get time with my little man. These holidays, Christmas, crazy schedules, tournaments, all types, everybody's all over the place. It's almost done though, man. We going. 2024, here we come, baby. All right, so Danielle Harris has been pretty busy lately, and I don't know if it's just like post-pandemic, just jumping into whatever she can do, get your money. I ain't mad at you. Back on HMU a couple weeks ago, right after Thanksgiving, we talked about an AI film called Dorothy, that she is like the voice of this AI thing that's like got these like bank robbers trapped in a warehouse. You know what I'm saying? Do what you got to do with that. But this next film, she doesn't necessarily star in. She does play a role in the film, but the film actually stars Caitlin Carmichael. It's called Roadkill. And this is our little indie film shout out from Below the Grave. It's an uncorked film. Now, one thing that I will say is the trailer actually looks kind of fun. I didn't get a chance to look at the back history on the film and see how it did in circuits, but it's directed by Warren Fast. It's going to get a little theater release, LA, Chicago, Detroit, Minneapolis, Twin Cities. And the film follows this young lady who is driving around this SS, and it's pretty nice. And she picks up this hitchhiker, and it's one of those things where you're like, oh man, this little innocent girl should not have picked up this hitchhiker. And then like within the first 2 minutes of even watching the trailer, it's like, nope, don't think so. She the bad person. So then you find out that this guy is actually riding around with this chick who is like just hell bent on destroying everything in her path. So the trailer looked a little fun. Good luck finding the movie. I don't mean to say that ignorantly, but I did. The main reason why is because when people switch and change names of films and they use something like a roadkill, man, it's put 2022 behind the film, people. You know what I mean? Or, like I tell people all the time, look up the director, Warren Fast, if you want to see this. But it's going to be on all streaming platforms. The car is worth the price of admission, in my opinion. But, Is this something I'll see relatively soon? Probably not. But don't be surprised if I get my eyes across it sometime in the near future. But that is a little shout out for a film, Below the Grave. All right, what the hell is streaming next week?
Well, now you can stop right there, feller. Whatever you're selling, I ain't a-buying.
Whoa, I got guns and ammo. 70% off.
Guns and ammo? Well, old Bessie is running a little low on shells.
All right, people. I'll be going to see Night Swim Wednesday morning, so here we go. Theaters Friday, right? As the trailers continue to go on, I still feel like the movie is still in from Dark Water, the original Asian film, but I'm down. The trailers are getting better. If you don't know what Night Swim's about, these people buy a house. There's a pool in the house. Supposedly the people who used to live there haven't used the pool in a long time. I wonder why. Ain't nobody supposed to be in the pool. And of course, what do? They fill up the pool. They get their ass in the pool. And then some weird shit happens. So that's going to be in theaters. That's a big movie in theaters. If you've been in the theaters the last couple weeks, which is, like I said, kind of quiet out there in these streets, you probably saw a trailer for Night Swim. Suitable Flesh. Funky movie. That's coming out on DVD. That stars Heather Graham. We had it in many a festival we attended this year. They Turned Us Into Killers on VOD. I'm looking for that one. I've been looking for that one. I missed that at one. I think it was one of the Grimfests, but They Turned Us Into Killers. Everyone Will Burn. We've been talking about this film since Halloween. Finally on DVD, January 9th. Tim, AI movie, artificial guy, stalks the lady. You know what I mean? Think like Megan's weird older cousin, Tim. Destroy All Neighbors. We did our little watch on the trailer for that. Live reaction, and this is what they call those. That's going to be hitting next Friday, which is going to be January the 12th. And the only reason we're dipping into next Friday, because like I keep telling y'all, there's not a lot going on right now. I kind of figured this would happen. Last but not least, Laced. That'll be hitting VOD January 12th. And of course, Destroy All Neighbors, starring Jonah. That will be on Shudder January 12th. So, like I said, back when we were talking prior to Fantastic Fest, we were doing a couple interviews and things like that. We were mentioning how there was going to be a time where we would start to see kind of some gaps. And that's definitely due to strikes, post-production issues following the pandemic, and just not a lot of motherfuckers have money. So while normally the first week of January, you probably would have about maybe 3 to 4 other features, I'm not surprised to see so few. One thing that I am very surprised about, and I'll leave that on this note, as we look ahead to next week. Oh, and The Human Trap, before I open up my goddamn mouth. I'm expecting to see more sci-fi films because I feel like if there's any moment where people can start to flex their muscle with creativity, it's right now. So I'm expecting to see a lot more sci-fi. For me, that's not always a good thing because, I have a very love-hate, more hate than love, way more hate on sci-fi films than most, but we'll see. All right, so next show, best and possibly the worst films of the year. We always give you guys a top 5. We try to go across genres if we can. So think horror, think sci-fi thriller, action thriller, dark comedy, and then we should have a review, we hope, for either Ferrari or Ghost Station, and possibly, and definitely Night Swim updates and thoughts on that as well. So, end of the year show coming up next, people. We appreciate you guys as always. Episode number 47, getting ready to round out season number 4 of Submissions and Slashers. I can't believe we are finally getting up to 50 episodes. Is one of the reasons why I was like, all right, bro, you got to start adding more things to the equation, change the area to make this work a little bit more. So hope you guys have been liking all the updates. We're going to keep growing, keep developing so that you guys can start sending us some goddamn money. Hit like, follow, subscribe. Catch you guys on the next one. We are out. 2 fingers. Follow us at HMUNCUT Submissions and Slashers on YouTube and Spotify. Catch you guys on the next one. Happy New Year's Eve episode coming up. We out.